Hey there! Are you over 50? Or maybe you're just this close to hitting that milestone? Well, hold on to your hat because we're diving into some shocking truths you absolutely need to hear. Let's face it, life after 50 is a beautiful chapter, more freedom, more wisdom, and, hopefully, more adventures. But it also comes with some sneaky, often hidden pitfalls that could quietly be setting you up for trouble. And trust me, these aren't your average drink more water or go for a walk tips. We're talking about life-changing, potentially dangerous mistakes that many people make without even realizing it. Mistakes that could sabotage your health, steal your energy, or even put you at serious risk physically, mentally, and emotionally. Things like the one small habit most people don't think twice about that can silently double your chances of heart disease. Or the everyday household item that might be ruining your joints as we speak. The craziest part? Some of these mistakes are so common that you've probably been doing them for years. But don't panic. This video isn't about doom and gloom. It's about helping you catch these problems early, while you can still turn things around. Because let's be real, life at 50 plus can be amazing when you're in control of your well-being. So, what are these dangerous mistakes? How can you detect them quickly and avoid falling into the same traps so many others have? Stick with us, because in just a few minutes, you're going to walk away with some powerful tools to protect yourself and thrive. By the way, number 7 on this list? It's one that nobody talks about, but it can quietly age you faster than anything else. And number 3. Well, let's just say ignoring that one could set you up for a lifetime of regret. So, grab your coffee, settle in, and get ready to uncover the truth about living your best, healthiest, and happiest life after 50. Because this isn't just another health tips video. This is your wake-up call. And trust me, you don't want to miss a second of it. Let's get into it. Number 1. Ignoring regular health screenings. Ignoring regular health screenings after 50 can be like driving without a seatbelt. You might feel fine, but the risks are silently piling up. As we age, our bodies undergo changes that make us more vulnerable to diseases like hypertension, diabetes, and cancer. Regular screenings are the ultimate early detection tool, helping to catch these issues before they spiral out of control. A 2021 study published in the Lancet Public Health examined over 150,000 adults aged 50 plus across 10 countries. Researchers tracked participants for a decade, comparing those who adhered to recommended screenings with those who didn't. They found that regular screening reduced late-stage cancer diagnosis by 35%, cut cardiovascular-related deaths by 28%, and improved overall survival rates by 22%. Here's the science. Chronic diseases like cancer and heart disease often start quietly, without obvious symptoms. For instance, atherosclerosis, which is the buildup of plaque in arteries, begins years before it causes a heart attack. Screenings like blood pressure tests and cholesterol panels can detect these silent killers early, allowing for interventions like lifestyle changes or medications that halt progression. Similarly, screenings for colorectal or breast cancer can catch tiny, treatable tumors long before they spread. The study also revealed a striking behavioral twist. Individuals who regularly screened were 18% more likely to adopt healthier habits, such as quitting smoking or exercising more. It's a cascading effect. The earlier you know, the more empowered you are to take action. So, skipping those checkups. That's a dangerous gamble when the odds and the science are clearly in favor of catching problems early. Number 2. Not prioritizing bone health. Not prioritizing bone health after 50 can set the stage for a silent but sneaky villain, osteoporosis. Here's how it works. Bones are constantly being remodeled, a balance between breakdown by cells called osteoclasts and rebuilding by osteoblasts. As you age, especially post-50, this process gets a bit out of sync. Osteoclasts get overactive, breaking down more bone than osteoblasts can rebuild. The result? Bone mineral density decreases, making your skeleton fragile and prone to fractures, even from minor falls. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Bone and mineral research highlighted the urgency of this issue. Researchers analyzed over 11,000 participants aged 50 and older across the U.S. and tracked their bone density alongside fracture risks over a 10-year period. The findings were staggering. People with low bone mineral density had a 300% higher risk of fractures than those with normal bone mineral density. In women, the risk of hip fractures, which is a major cause of disability, skyrocketed by 72% compared to men. The study involved dual-energy X-ray absorptiometry scans to measure bone mineral density and track changes, revealing that many participants had no idea their bones were in trouble until a fracture occurred. What makes this dangerous mistake so tricky is that osteoporosis is a silent disease. You don't feel weaker bones until something breaks. But the good news? It's preventable. By loading up on calcium-rich foods, getting some sun for vitamin D, and engaging in strength training, you can slow bone loss and even boost density. So don't let your bones quietly turn to chalk and stay proactive. Number 3. Overlooking muscle loss. Not overlooking muscle loss, or sarcopenia, is critical after 50 because it's not just about looking toned. It's about maintaining strength, mobility, and even your independence. Sarcopenia occurs due to a decline in muscle protein formation, driven by reduced levels of building hormones like testosterone and growth hormone, coupled with increased muscle protein breakdown. With age, type E fast-twitch muscle fibers, the ones responsible for strength and power, shrink significantly, making everyday activities like climbing stairs or carrying groceries harder. A fascinating study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism in 2011 examined this phenomenon in depth. Researchers at the University of Nottingham studied 48 adults over 60, splitting them into groups based on diet and activity levels, using advanced imaging to measure muscle mass and biopsies to analyze muscle fiber health. They found that sedentary individuals lost muscle mass at an alarming rate of 1 to 2% per year after 50. Worse, strength declined by up to 3% annually, meaning that by age 70, a sedentary person could have lost up to 30% of their muscle strength. The study also revealed that participants who engaged in resistance training twice a week had 40% higher muscle protein synthesis rates compared to those who were inactive. This decline isn't just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Reduced muscle strength increases the risk of falls, fractures, and hospitalizations. Plus, less muscle means a slower metabolism, which can lead to weight gain and its associated health risks, like diabetes or cardiovascular disease. The takeaway: catching muscle loss early and countering it with strength training, adequate protein. So aim for 1.2 to 1.5 grams per kg of body weight daily. Also, staying active can quite literally keep you stronger longer. So grab those dumbbells, your muscles will thank you. Number 4. Staying sedentary. When you're over 50, staying sedentary isn't just a lifestyle choice, it's practically a health hazard. Sitting for prolonged periods slows down your metabolism, leading to reduced calorie burn and fat breakdown. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. A sedentary lifestyle also wreaks havoc on your cardiovascular system by decreasing blood flow and encouraging plaque buildup in arteries, raising your risk of heart disease and stroke. What's more, inactivity leads to a loss of muscle mass and bone density, both of which are already on the decline with age. Over time, this can result in frailty and a higher likelihood of falls. Perhaps the most alarming is its impact on insulin sensitivity. Prolonged sitting can make your cells less responsive to insulin, increasing your risk of type 2 diabetes. Now, here's some science to drive it home. A pivotal study published in Circulation in 2016 by researchers at the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center took a deep dive into the dangers of sitting too much. The researchers analyzed over 7,000 adults aged 45 to 75. Participants were divided into groups based on daily sitting time and were tracked for an average of 9 years. The results were jaw-dropping. Those who sat for more than 10 hours a day had a 34% higher risk of cardiovascular events, like heart attacks, compared to those who sat for fewer than 5 hours. But here's the good news. The study also found that incorporating just 30 minutes of moderate exercise, like brisk walking, reduced this risk by 43%. So stand up, stretch, and move around regularly. Not only will you feel better, but you'll also be doing your heart, muscles, and metabolism a massive favor. Number 5. Neglecting mental health. Neglecting mental health after 50 isn't just about feeling down now and then. It's a domino effect that can wreak havoc on your brain and body. Chronic stress and untreated mental health conditions, like depression or anxiety, trigger the overproduction of cortisol, your body's primary stress hormone. Over time, elevated cortisol levels shrink the hippocampus, the brain's memory hub, while damaging connections in the prefrontal cortex, which manages decision-making. This brain stress doesn't stop there. It weakens the immune system, raises inflammation levels, and increases the risk of developing cardiovascular diseases and even dementia. Supporting this, a groundbreaking study published in the Lancet Psychiatry in 2019 examined 6,894 adults aged 50 plus in the UK. Researchers tracked participants' mental health and cognitive function over 8 years. They found that individuals with persistent depression were 83% more likely to experience significant memory decline compared to those without depression. Even more shocking, chronic loneliness increased the risk of developing dementia by 40%. The researchers took steps like annual surveys assessing mental health, cognitive tests for memory and processing speed, and monitoring social engagement levels. These results weren't just numbers. They're a wake-up call that keeping your mental health in check isn't optional, it's critical. So, what does this mean? If you're brushing off feelings of isolation or stress, it's not just a mood issue, it's a potential full-body health threat. Before we continue, if you have been enjoying the video so far, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss more videos like this. Number 6. Improper medication management. As we age, our liver and kidneys slow down, meaning medications linger longer in the body. This increases the risk of accumulation and toxicity. Add to that polypharmacy, or taking multiple medications, which is common in older adults managing chronic conditions like hypertension or diabetes, and you've got a recipe for potential disaster. For instance, certain drugs can amplify each other's effects, such as blood thinners and nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, leading to serious complications like gastrointestinal bleeding. A 2021 study published in the journal PMC Geriatrics examined the impact of polypharmacy in older adults across Europe. Researchers analyzed the medication regimens of 3,000 individuals aged 60 plus over 2 years. They found that 40% experienced at least one adverse drug reaction, with 25% of those cases requiring hospitalization. Furthermore, participants who had their medications reviewed regularly by a pharmacist or doctor saw a 35% reduction in adverse drug reaction risk compared to those who didn't. The mechanism. When unchecked, drug-drug interactions can alter absorption, distribution, and elimination pathways, leading to harmful side effects. Even supplements or over-the-counter meds like antacids can interfere with prescriptions, reducing their effectiveness. The study underscores how something as simple as regular reviews, checking dosages, cutting duplicates, or addressing interactions can prevent cascading health problems. Number 7. Not watching diet changes. As you get the golden 50s, your body's metabolism starts to slow down. And this isn't just about burning fewer calories. It's a cascade of changes involving your hormones, muscle mass, and even gut bacteria. Ignoring diet adjustments at this stage can lead to serious health risks like weight gain, insulin resistance, and inflammation, which are precursors to chronic illnesses such as diabetes and heart disease. A pivotal study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2019 sheds light on this. Researchers from the University of Exeter followed 3,000 adults aged 50 to 70 over 5 years to examine the effects of dietary patterns on metabolic health. Participants were divided into groups based on their diets: high-processed foods, balanced diets, and those rich in plant-based whole foods. Those in the high-processed food group saw a 25% increase in visceral fat, which is dangerous fat that wraps around your organs, and a 40% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Meanwhile, participants who prioritized a balanced diet with whole foods experienced a 15% reduction in inflammation markers and a 20% slower decline in muscle mass. The research also highlighted how fiber can support gut health and regulate blood sugar levels, reducing insulin resistance by up to 30%. Here's the kicker: the body's ability to process sugar diminishes with age due to reduced insulin sensitivity, meaning those late-night snacks or carb-heavy meals hit harder than ever before. Without diet tweaks, this silent metabolic shift can creep up, leading to preventable health scares. Number 8. Ignoring hearing and vision changes. Ignoring hearing and vision changes after 50 isn't just an inconvenience. It's a ticking time bomb for your overall health. As we get older, the gradual decline in sensory perception, like hearing loss, known as presbycusis, and vision issues, like cataracts or macular degeneration, can significantly impact brain health. When the brain receives incomplete or distorted information from the eyes or ears, it must work overtime to make sense of the world. This overexertion has been linked to cognitive decline, memory problems, and even an increased risk of dementia. A study published in JAMA Neurology in 2019 analyzed over 6,500 participants aged 50 plus and found that untreated hearing loss increased the risk of developing dementia by a staggering 50% over 10 years. Similarly, poor vision was associated with a 30% higher likelihood of depression due to social isolation and reduced quality of life. The research team at Johns Hopkins conducted detailed testing of hearing, vision, and cognitive function at baseline and followed participants over a decade. The results showed that individuals with untreated sensory loss had accelerated brain atrophy, yes, actual shrinkage, compared to their peers who sought corrective measures like glasses, hearing aids, or surgeries. Sensory deprivation limits neural stimulation, while the stress of compensating for sensory deficits causes chronic inflammation and neural wear and tear. So, ignoring that blurry text or muffled conversation isn't just about being stubborn. It's a direct invitation for your brain to age faster than it needs to. Number 9. Downplaying sleep problems. With age, sleep patterns naturally change, and many older adults experience trouble with both the quality and quantity of their sleep. Research shows that sleep deprivation or poor sleep quality can trigger a domino effect of health issues. One major study published in JAMA Internal Medicine in 2019 investigated the link between sleep deprivation and cognitive decline in older adults. The study tracked 1,400 participants aged 60 and older over a span of 4 years. Researchers found that those who slept less than 6 hours a night were 40% more likely to experience significant cognitive decline compared to those who got 7 to 8 hours. In fact, the results revealed that poor sleep was associated with an increased risk of developing Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. Moreover, sleep deprivation also weakens the immune system, making older adults more susceptible to infections and chronic diseases like hypertension and diabetes. Additionally, the body's ability to repair and regenerate tissue decreases, contributing to faster aging and increased inflammation. So it's not just about feeling sluggish the next day. Sleep problems in older adults need to be detected and addressed quickly to avoid long-term damage. Getting quality sleep isn't just a luxury. It's a fundamental pillar of health. Number 10. Underestimating hydration needs. Underestimating hydration needs as you age is a serious mistake, especially after 50. This is because our bodies naturally lose some of the ability to sense thirst. which means we often don't drink as much as we actually need. This reduced thirst sensation is due to changes in the brain and kidneys that occur with age, impairing the body's fluid regulation system. Research published in the Journal of Nutrition in 2020 found that around 40% of adults over 50 are chronically dehydrated without realizing it. In this study, researchers tracked fluid intake and hydration status in a group of older adults and found that dehydration was linked to several serious health issues, including impaired cognitive function, kidney problems, and even higher mortality rates. The participants who drank less than the recommended amount of fluids had a 50% increased risk of kidney stones and a 30% higher chance of experiencing cognitive decline. One of the biggest concerns is that dehydration can lead to a vicious cycle. Less hydration means less energy, which leads to more sedentary behavior, which further dehydrates the body. So these were the top 10 dangerous mistakes if you are older than 50 years that you must quickly detect. Now, we want to hear from you. Which of these mistakes are you guilty of? What steps are you planning to take to avoid them from now on? Share with us your experiences and opinions in the comments below. We love to hear them. Thanks for watching.